I always say the year the season started, it like we always say the 2017 Eagles, right?
Yes, and I think like they're the ones that won the Super Bowl. Like it wasn't the 2018 Super Bowl.
Correct.
Yeah.
We always say the 2017, but it happened in 2018, so it's one of those weird ones. That's one of the great things about baseball. It's the only season
It's all in
that
one
is
calendar
encapsulated
year.
in one calendar year.
All right.
Love that. Because I always know. I'm so much easier to remember baseball. I'm like, oh, that was 95 because that was one.
So I saw a video earlier of some guy on Duke named every single World Series champion in order since like 1908.
No, I can't do 1908. I could probably do like the last 40 years.
Could you do your lifetime?
40?
I don't know. I haven't done it. Yeah, I that's funny. My lifetime. So the funny thing is I would probably run into trouble with the more recent stuff. Like I could definitely do from like the year I was born through like 2000.
I think I
and
like
then
to
I would
maybe
probably
do
go
the
hit or
last
miss.
5.
I doubt you could.
Yeah, you're probably right. So it's Rangers, obviously.
Yeah.
Astros.
You can do the two that the Phillies are involved in.
Well, yeah, right. I don't know. Who was it?
So 2020, I have to go over here. So
Oh, wait,
2023
2020. That would have
Well,
been. or no,
2020 was the
2021.
Dodgers. 2021 was would have been. Hold on,
You got it.
I just need to think for a sec. Hold on, I'm not in that headspace. So it was Rangers, Astros, the Braves, obviously, and then the Nationals
They've
would
been
have
very
been
forgettable
Nationals would have been 19,
Yeah.
Astros 18, and then I could figure it out if I really tried to.
It's crazy when you think that the NL East has been involved in 3 of the last, 6 World Series.
How about that?
3 of the last 5. And there's 3 divisions in the NL, right? So you
Yeah.
would think
Look at you.
mathematically.
There you go.
Yeah.
There's 4. No, I'm just kidding. There's 3.
Oh, well,
Ready to roll?
Yeah, we've been live this whole time.
Oh, good. All right. Well, there we go. All right, let's start.
let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, here we go. I'm doing a Friday pod, by the way. Everyone, Elliot knows.
Does not like doing Friday.
It's the
pods.
only thing I don't like. I always say to Elliot, I'll record anytime during the week. Like whatever we got. And granted, I have scheduling and a shoot, all that.
Right.
But like he knows. And he's
Friday is
and
the
I-
time.
Can I tell you how much I appreciate you for that?
No
You're
problem.
so good about it. You never push it. Never
Right.
whatever. I really appreciate you.
No problem.
We're here though.
It's a daily pod.
All right, let's do it. Hey, hello. It is the Go Birds podcast presented by the Bet Park Sportsbook and Casino app. It's Friday. We made it. Oh, no, wait. We still have another weekday
Dude, I was
before the Eagles
laying
play.
in
We
bed
didn't
last
make it.
night. I was laying in bed last night. It was probably like 12:30. I couldn't sleep. And I was just thinking, I almost tweeted it, and I thought people would think it's weird. But, I just...
That you were tweeting at 12:30 or
I
that
was
you tweeted
laying in
it?
bed thinking about the game.
Yeah.
I'm ready for this game to kick off.
I
I know
know.
there's, people think they're going to win and, all blah, whatever. I just am ready to see how this team responds. I'm ready to see them play. I'm ready to see what they look like. Is it just like the regular season thing? Are they going to bring it for the playoffs? I need this game to be here, and it really sucks. Now, there are good playoff games, which I think...
It's a good weekend.
Yeah.
And not just that, if you thought about, there's real, storylines with all
Yeah.
the games. I mean, other than the Steelers-Bills game, which I think we can all agree is
boring.
boring.
I
you got
really
the,
don't think...
You got the
Cleveland
Deshaun
needs to
Watson
do
Bowl without him playing, which is hilarious.
that. Oh, I didn't think about that.
You didn't think about that?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't
it's
think
the
about
Deshaun
that.
Watson
He's so
Bowl.
forgotten.
I know. Funny. Joe Flacco starting for the Browns and the Deshaun Watson
Yeah,
Bowl is
you're right.
hilarious. Obviously, Tyreek Hill's return to Kansas City and the cold Knoll thing.
Dome Bowl.
The Dome Bowl, as you would say. We'll get into that. Mike McCarthy versus former team in that one. And then
Yep.
you get the Stafford
Stafford,
Goff thing. There's a lot of fun. And then obviously the Eagles going back to Tampa Bay. The Hurts can't read, all that stuff. There's a lot of
I'm also
little stuff
super
going on.
pumped just from a personal perspective. But I feel like the best games are in, and this is obviously not by mistake, the best time slots. I can't wait for Saturday night, to watch
Well, yeah,
the game
Chiefs,
and the
Chiefs,
weather
Dolphins.
and
I think
everything.
those are Chiefs, Dolphins, and Rams, Lions are my two
Well,
favorite games.
and what
of the
I'm
week.
excited about is I booked my flight to Tampa, not realizing it, but I take off at 1 and land at 4:30, so I get all the Sunday games.
Look
So
at
I'm super- I mean, I don't get the 1 o'clock one, but who
But
cares?
that's the Bills one that we don't
Exactly,
care
right.
about. Yeah.
So I feel like I'm not going to miss anything.
I love it. All right, well, we're going to pick the games later. This is the
Yes.
Bet Parks Picks pod, obviously, but we're some other stuff to get into first, and then we'll get to our picks.
I have a
As I will go 11-0. However many games. No, they're 13-0, 14-0, whatever it is. I'm going to go undefeated.
I think you
this playoffs.
might.
I just want you to
honestly.
know.
I think you might.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to beat you. You're 8
I
games up.
make games up.
Shout out to Stokes. And
So
Matt.
you're
Yeah.
not in great shape with that.
No. But honestly, every single game for the whole year, 8 under. I'll take it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a Sirianni thought.
We shoot high.
Yes. I was thinking about this last night too, as I was laying. in bed. All right. I'm not saying Sirianni has done a great job this year, and I'm not saying he's a perfect head coach. But you know what? I really think there's something so admirable, and this is gonna sound corny, but I think it's so true.
When don't you? You know. Come
I
on.
know,
No.
but don't you think there's just something so admirable about how much this dude cares? We like to pretend like everybody super cares. Like everybody that plays for a team we like really cares and really wants them to win and like thinks about it. That's not the case. Like a lot of them do for sure. And like the Eagles have done a good job getting guys that care. But not every Sixer super cares. Not every Philly super cares. Not every Flyer super cares. Like it's just a reality that the people that play for the sports teams a lot of times are like not from Philly and all those things. And I'm not saying Sirianni cares like as much as Eagles fans because Eagles fans have grown up here and they feel that. But I really do.
It feels like he does.
It's just like when I'm around him and you look at him, like maybe he won't get it fixed. And maybe that will result in him being fired. But I don't think they'll ever have another head coach that cares as much about the Eagles as Sirianni does. Maybe it'll be close. Like maybe you can find some. But like.
So I don't know about cares. I get what you're saying. I think that I don't know that that's. I think he's just very out. And I agree. I think he's on the high end of caring. But I think he's so outward with his caring. You know what I mean?
Whereas I think that matters.
But I think there are other guys who might care as much, but don't like show it the same way he does. I we can relate to it, but at the same time, it also leads to a lot of people being like high school hairy guy and all that.
Yeah, but I just would. I think you say this a lot. At least I think you say this a lot. Like sports are supposed to be fun.
I do,
and I know right now it's not fun with the Eagles. But if you're an Eagles fan, like, don't you want this guy as your coach?
I'm with you.
Someone that like it looks like he's not sleeping because he cares so much that the team's losing, and maybe he doesn't have the answers, and ultimately that matters more than caring.
Absolutely.
But as like everyone's so willing to just throw this guy out, and everyone's so willing just to fire him all of a sudden, like this dude is like not sleeping because of the fact that he can't get it fixed, and I just think that's an admirable quality that you're not going to get in other coaches.
And I don't know. I think that's unfair to a lot. I think a lot of coaches will not sleep and will work their ass, especially young guys who are working their way up. Like I think guys work like that. Like I don't know if it's that, but I do think that the way he shows his emotions and the way he kind of feels like one of us, I like it personally. I know a lot of people don't.
I guess maybe there's a better way for me to put it. Like I think Doug loves.
I don't think he cares more than other coaches. I think that he just wears his emotions on his sleeve. Like this is their livelihood. This is their careers.
Right.
This is their life.
Right.
Like,
so let me rephrase.
Guys, you know what I mean?
Let me rephrase. I think he cares. Like I think there's coaches that, to your point, really, really want to win. Like a lot. They really, really want to win. I think Nick genuinely, like, really, really wants it for the city.
I'm sure.
I really do, man. Like, I really do. Like, I think Nick pictures himself going down Broad Street and, like, going out to, like, and everyone, like, I think Nick loves the sports community, and I think he wants to, like, give them something. Whereas I think like Chip Kelly.
Yeah, well, Chip's the extreme example.
Yeah, but, like,
I don't think Chip cared about people.
But I think at the end of Doug's tenure, I think Doug was, like, not super burning.
He was, but I know. But I think that Doug, to get to the Super Bowl, I think he cared like that.
For sure, he cared. But
look, I get your point. I just think that it's, and I would acknowledge. I think Nick is probably more on that end than other coaches. But I think the reason it's so obvious is because he wears his emotions on his sleeve, and I don't think a lot of coaches do that.
And I don't want to get back into the Belichick thing, but you just can't tell me that Belichick would come here and care as much as Nick does. Doesn't mean he won't be a better head coach.
Well, I don't know. I mean, Belichick would be coming here to beat Shula's records.
Right,
so I bet he cares a lot about that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't want my head coach caring about
that. I get your point. I just think it's because he wears his emotions on his sleeve. I don't think it's necessarily like I think you're underrating how much coaches care about where they coach and whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure Mike Tomlin cares about the city of Pittsburgh.
Well, I think
wants
Mike
to win
Tomlin's
for
awesome.
The city of Pittsburgh.
For sure. Yeah.
Right. So you know what I mean?
But like Mike Tomlin's one of the best head coaches in the league. Like, I think it's an important quality to have a head coach to like truly care about the place you work. And I think Nick has that. And I think like if they fire Nick, there's no guarantee the next person will come in and
I don't know. This I do I get what you're saying. I just don't fully agree. It does feel hokey to me. Honestly, it feels a little hokey.
I just don't think it's hokey. I think this is who he is. Like, sorry.
But again, I think you're underrating. I think every coach where they are wants to win. They want to win for the city and for the team and for their players and all that stuff. And like, yeah, maybe Nick's like because he's more emotional.
Yeah.
Sure, but I don't think that it means more. It's just that he's willing to show us that he cares more.
But I guess showing it, like, we always compare you to him,
yes.
Right? Like, if you were head coach of the Eagles, and I know you're an Eagles fan, so it's not, like, apples to apples. But, like, you would act, and I think a lot of ways, like Nick, and, like, you would feel, like, the passion, like, for the good or the bad of the city. And I think that's an important quality to have
I get
for somebody.
it.
I don't think everybody that they would hire will have that. So I think, like, it's a reason to keep him. Is what I'm saying.
Sure, I get what you're saying. I think his passion, you know, I think it matters. I don't know if I equate the one to the other in the same way that you do. But look, I think he's on the higher end. I agree. That is something about Nick. I do think he wants I think he appreciates the city. I think
he wants it for the city as
Yeah.
opposed to just for himself.
Sure, I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I know what you're saying, but I don't know that it's that. Like, I don't know. I think Andy Reid wanted to win for this city. He didn't,
I
but
agree. Andy's
yeah.
the best head coach in the history of in the history of the franchise.
I just think a lot of coaches would. I don't know.
Not the way Nick does.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
right? Like this,
I don't know. I just think he wears emotions on his sleeve, so I don't.
but that allows us to see it.
But exactly,
Right.
exactly. So
Right.
my point is I don't know. Other coaches might feel the same way, but not show it to us.
But
the
I
same way.
think by being someone like we wear our emotions on.
I
our
think
sleeve.
we're arguing semantics.
I know.
here,
But let me
really.
say one last thing, then we'll move on.
Yes,
I think like we both wear our emotions on our sleeves.
I appreciate that he wears his
And
emotions
so,
on his
but
sleeve.
why do we do that, right? It's because we're emotional people.
Sure.
So I think like Nick's emotions allow him to feel it at a deeper level than other people do.
Maybe
Not that they don't want
maybe.
to.
I don't know. Maybe it's an interesting thought.
Yeah.
it's an interesting thought. I
It
don't.
just would suck so bad if he got fired. Like
I
maybe it's
feel
the right
bad.
thing to
Yeah.
do. Like blah blah blah. Like
Well, no. I don't know that it's the right thing.
No,
to
no,
do.
I don't- I don't
We
think
don't
it
know
is.
enough in the building and all.
right. If Lurie does it, then Lurie does it. It would just super suck for Nick because I think like
It'd be hard. Again,
he
it
super
would.
deserves.
It would be unfair to Nick. There's
Yes.
no other way to put it. And again, we don't know how bad it's gotten in that building. If it is really on him,
he
and
has
if the players
he
don't like
holds
him
a
anymore,
blame in
there's that,
this, yeah.
like that, then that's on him, and I get it. And he screwed up. But like outside of stuff we don't know being like way worse than we
Right.
think it is, like yeah, I think it's completely unfair.
I think his mistakes are well intentioned. If that.
well, I
makes
don't
sense.
think that matters. I get
No,
your
no,
point.
I don't think it matters.
Right.
But
I feel bad for him.
Yeah,
for sure.
right. Is what I
Yeah.
mean. Yeah.
All right. Let's get into some. We'll get to the picks coming up in a few. Let's get to just some of the things from yesterday because we did talk yesterday, and then like a lot happened in
Right.
terms of like who's practicing, who's not. In terms of Jalen talking about his finger. Let's start with Jalen because I think ultimately, like you have said many times, the only real chance for this team to
Is
go
if
on a run
Jalen is special.
is if Jalen is special. If
Right.
it's like okay, that's the guy from last year, they could beat anyone because they have the better quarterback in a game, right?
Right.
Like. So the biggest concern I have going into this run, let's say, game run, whatever it ends up being, is Jalen's finger.
Yeah, I'm not that concerned about Jalen.
Okay, tell me why. Because so for those who missed it, he said that before he went out yesterday, but before practice he had not thrown since the
Right.
Giants game, and that he was kind of mad at himself for going back in the game.
I thought that was interesting.
It was interesting, and because
Yeah.
we don't know whether he wanted to go back in, whether Nick wanted him to go back in, whatever.
Well, Nick said, I think on your show,
Nick said that Jalen wanted to go back
that
in.
Jalen wanted to go.
So,
back
but
in.
we also, I mean, that's the shame of the Seattle thing. And it's, look, you never believe coaches fully. We always know that they are going to lie.
Yeah,
but
and Nick
like,
especially,
because
for
Nick
what it's
did
worth.
that, because it was so blatant a lie, it's like now you have to be like, well, is Nick lying or not in that
Yeah.
situation? Because he could be protecting Jalen or not. He could be trying to make Jalen look tough or
Well,
whatever.
I think the truth of it is probably he was told he could go back in by doctors, and he was like, I want to go back in. It was like, and,
Yeah, I
and
would-
Nick's probably, well, they said you can go back in.
Sure.
Like you could argue in that instance you want to be extra.
Nick should have been
cautious.
like, you're not going back.
Yeah, exactly. You
Theoretically.
could certainly make that, especially when he only played 2 series. They were
Yeah.
down like
they were losing
whatever.
14 or whatever.
Yeah,
it was 10
and,
nothing
and
at the time.
Dallas was, winning. I think at the very least there. I just think that now he will have to wear a glove, which I think is a little
Less than ideal.
less
yeah.
than ideal. But I think that ultimately, if he plays, like I'm sure he'll be able to get his finger to a point where he'll be okay. Like,
I would. I would think
one concern I would have is he's had issue taking care of the ball this year. Maybe
Yeah.
he doesn't have the
not
same
great.
grip of it, which is not
Well,
great.
especially because it's both his throwing hand and generally his ball holding
Right,
hand when he's
exactly.
running as well.
Yes. So,
Obviously
like,
you
the
switch
grip-
if you're
the
close to
grip
the
on the
sideline, but he's
ball,
going to
yeah.
carry it in his right hand the
And-
majority of the time.
Like if I'm a Bucks defender, like if he's running, I'm certainly.
Oh
swinging
my
at that
God! Well, I think
hand.
that's the biggest issue. Like if
Yeah.
you're, and again, if he's running, and part
Yeah.
of this whole thing is like you kind of need him to run, and any free shot you get at that hand, you're going to take it.
Well, and the other issue is he doesn't get rid of the ball quick.
Yeah,
So
it's
like
another
he's
issue.
not someone where you can like get the ball out of his hand quickly. Like he's got the 3rd slowest release time in the league in
Great.
terms of time to throw. So yeah. So I guess maybe I am concerned about it. But I think he's gonna play is my ultimate point. I also think
Hey, look, maybe they run the ball more.
I don't mean this as like I don't mean this as like a negative or anything, but I do think Jalen likes to play possum a little.
Yeah, and
you
I think
know,
Jalen does like to like look weaker than he
Yes.
is and then surprise.
Yes. And
I
like
agree.
and look, as a sports fan growing up, I'm sure like he likes the idea of like going out there and like playing when he's sick and like everyone
yeah,
knows
the Jordan flu game.
Right,
it was supposed to
exactly.
be in Seattle. It just didn't play out
looked like
that
it
way.
until the end, yeah. So my guess is Jalen will play. The concern I have is AJ. So we're recording this Friday morning. It's like the Eagles because they play on Monday. Today is like their Thursday and not their Friday. So we've only seen them practice once this week, and AJ was nowhere to be seen. Wasn't in the locker room. Wasn't out of practice. At least I didn't see him if he was. And I'm pretty sure he wasn't because I didn't see anybody say anything about it. So we'll see. Like he really could not play. Like that was a bad injury he suffered. It wasn't like, a nothing. Now, when he walked off the field in New York, he wasn't walking with a limp, but he certainly looked to be in a lot of pain when it happened. And I'd imagine it's one of those injuries where in the moment it really hurts, and then you think you're okay, and then the next day it's like it really swells. So I would think AJ, even if he plays, who knows like how much he's able to play. And also Nick said something, I'm paraphrasing here, but he said something along the lines like he thinks we'll have everybody, but who knows how long they'll be able to go on the podium.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I'll look up the quote to make sure. But yeah, so I'm
like AJ might try and play and not be able to, is what he's implying?
I think AJ's the one that I have real concern about. Devontae said he's going to play.
Devontae said he's in. Count me in. By the way, just a very quick, like, freaking love Devontae Smith, man.
Yeah, he's
like
the best.
we talk about it, but just the way that guy goes about his business in a season,
yeah.
or at least I should say in a 6-week span that has been just full of annoyances and nonsense and this and that. Like, it's never him.
He's worth every dollar they're going to pay.
Without a doubt.
So
I will say, though, if he's like the only receiver we got, though, I mean, him and Goddard, that's a concern.
Well,
that's a real concern.
Julio revenge game.
Yeah, sure.
His
vaunted career with the Bucs, everyone remembers.
Nick said some guys were expecting guys to be able to go during the game, and we'll see how their body feels out there. So, I think we'll see how AJ's knee responds.
Terrific.
The Reed Blankenship thing.
Well, that was the next one I was going to get to.
Yeah,
it's a groin injury. Certainly can't
great.
afford to not have Reed Blankenship out there.
Reed's not great, but at least he's like it feels like a.
Well, that's the thing. Who is it? Justin Evans? Like, I mean, is who?
Well, Justin Evans done.
He's done for the year. Like, who plays? Sidney Brown tore his ACL. He's out.
Yeah.
If Reed Blankenship's out, you got Byard. Like, who's your second safety? Who even plays there? Maddox?
Mekhi Gardner. They brought him up.
Mekhi Gardner.
Tristan McCullum.
Yeah, they're losing.
I don't know, man.
They're losing, man. I tried to get myself a little positivity.
Yeah.
Like, they're losing.
The defense is in bad shape. I agree.
Well, especially, so here's the thing we don't know. Like, if they're going to fire Nick, which, again, they're rumblings, and, it's a lot more real than I want it to be. And if the players know, or if the players have that vibe, like, it could be ugly. Like, let's put it this way. I think it is way more likely that Tampa Bay blows out the Eagles than the Eagles blow out Tampa Bay.
I guess I would agree with that. I think that one thing to consider with this game, and it's funny, we watched the hype video beforehand, and the hype video's whole thing is like, man, this is going bad, but we're going to try. Like, that was the
video, yeah. Poor Jason Kelsey.
That's quite the script.
I do
Only a minute, too. I feel like they normally make these.
It's like 2.5 or whatever. Yeah. I do have a take on that video. Do you want to hear it?
I know what it's going to be, and I just disagree with it. But
people aren't going to like it.
I know. Go ahead.
I just don't.
I know.
I don't.
You don't care.
No, so here's what I like. You know what I like? I like when you win. And then you put out the video of, like, the Bryce Harper home run and then this and that or whatever it is. Do that.
Yeah, but
and look, that's unfair. Last year I was pretty excited about it.
Yeah, hype videos are awesome.
They can be cool, but it's also like, I don't know. It just feels
nothing
like
the team can do right now is going to please you. Let's just be honest.
You're right.
Right? Like, nothing they could do. So, like, that's just where they are. That's probably why the hype video was a minute long.
Yeah.
Because they were like, let's get in, get out. Like, we have to put it out.
And for what it's worth, the Eagles do an amazing job with the hype videos. Like, they are so well put together and so well done.
Their production staff
is amazing.
Insane.
It's elite.
Like HBO quality level.
It's elite. I'm just not a huge, in general, not a huge hype video. I'm not a clips guy. I've talked about this.
No, I agree. But what was I saying? Oh, I actually think, we just talked about Nick's emotions. What do you think the chances are on Monday there's, they're down 24-3. Nick feels he's getting fired. I'd be curious to see what type of incident there is. Like, if Nick's yelling at somebody.
You think there's going to be an incident?
Well, I don't mean, look, I don't think he's going to, hurt
You
somebody.
think Nick might, lose
I think
cool.
it could be ugly on the sideline is the point I'm making. Because to what you're saying, I'm sure the players, they're getting asked about it all the time. If Nick's going to get fired. Nick hears it. Nick knows it. Nick either knows he's getting fired or doesn't know. Either one is extremely frustrating on the sideline if you're losing. So, I don't.
How did it get so freaking ugly so quick, man? I mean, 6 weeks ago, we're talking about winning the Super Bowl, and now we're talking
comparing
about
him to
firing
Don
Nick.
Shula,
Yes.
Tony Dungy.
We're talking about Jalen Hurts on lists like Peyton Manning and
that's the thing,
Joe Montana.
There's still those guys. Those things still happen. That wasn't like a mirage. We lived through it. They can still be those guys. They really can. But it just feels like they're walking on such incredibly thin ice right now. Where the ice is they have to sprint their heart.
It's cracking underneath them.
Now they can get across. They can do it. They're talented enough. They are good ice walkers.
Yeah,
but
they are more talented than the Bucs.
They are, and that's why I'm picking them.
Well, don't give it away. We'll get to it's the last game.
I've already tweeted it, but yeah.
Yeah, well, you don't know.
Tweet the line.
All right. Anything else before we get to the games?
I mean, no. I guess like it just being down there yesterday. It doesn't feel great. Like it just doesn't. It doesn't feel.
Well, yeah. Like you have. Like at being down there, and again, without hearing anything or whatever, but I have noticed with you over the last 3 days or so, 2 days being down there, like you've been more like Nick might be fired. And it's not because you're hearing anything; it's just being down there. It's like it feels like.
Well, think of how many times.
Man.
Think how many times I've left the NovaCare, either come to do a pod or texted you and been like, "Man, Nick is like on fire."
Yeah, all the time,
right?
Yeah,
and like
you just got to get in a room with this.
Watching
guy.
him yesterday, I just like
he looked defeated.
Yeah.
Well, what do you make of the
not defeated? That's not fair. But it wasn't the Nick. I
same
feel like
vibe,
I'm used
same
to,
yeah. So quickly, then one more thing I forgot about before we move on because people don't really talk about this. But what do you make of the fact they changed the walkthrough to the practice? I mean, that's kind of like on the fly, kind of. And look, I think they should have been practicing. I was happy they practiced, but like that's another one of those. Like, wait, what?
So yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I guess we got to do a real practice.
I was thinking originally maybe the PR staff just put walkthrough. But like
no, it got talked about. It was supposed to be a walkthrough, and they changed it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a good thing. I don't like
no answers.
Yeah, like I don't think it's in like response to what Javon Hargrave said.
No, I don't either. It's what they need.
Well, what I thought was interesting. So I asked Nick at the press conference. Like, I was trying to hopefully see if he would tell us if Lurie said he's safe. He didn't go that route. But I asked him like, "What's your interaction with Jeffrey been like?" And we talked to him before practice, and he said, "I'm looking forward to talking to him out there." Like, so he knew Jeffrey was coming to practice, which I think is kind of interesting. Like, I always pictured it's like Jeffrey just shows up.
Yeah, or you meet with him after practice or something.
Or like Nick's just going about his day, and it's like, oh, Jeffrey's here today.
Hey,
like,
well, you walk. I worked at NovaCare. You like Jeffrey walks around NovaCare.
Yes,
like, it's like I'll be in the cafeteria. It's like, oh, hey, there's Jeffrey Lurie.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah. I'm just like, he must have known Jeffrey was going to be out at practice.
Clearly, that means Jeffrey is a scheduled attendee.
Yeah, like Nick was either told or aware. Like,
wonder what if Jeffrey was the one who's like, we're not doing a walkthrough.
I mean, I'm not even kidding. Like from 1 to 10, what would you put the chances are?
Like a 7, honestly.
Yeah.
Like
I would say a realistic.
Maybe
2,
like
a 2 or 3,
3 or a 4.
Yeah,
but the point is like if it was reported, you'd be like, sure. Yeah.
But Nick also seems like the type that would be in.
Oh no, practice. I know. Yeah. I'm just saying, like,
No, look,
we know.
Look, it's bad. I don't know what else to say. I'm sure we'll do another pod about this, but my 1 second like thesis statement on the Jeffrey thing is I'm okay with Jeffrey and Howie being involved.
Yeah,
they know what they're doing.
We've been through this.
Right, exactly.
We've been through this.
Yeah.
I used to be mad about it. How many times do we battle?
Yeah, like a year.
We're over it.
Yes.
All right. Jeffrey's involved, and guess what? They've won a lot.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
All right.
Jeffrey cares too, by the way.
Yeah, of course he does. I think we all agree. I think Lurie's a good owner.
Oh, I do have a pro Belichick take.
Whoa.
You ready?
Yeah, I mean, I was unexpected. By the way, we didn't talk about it. It did happen before this.
Yeah,
so we
did,
did.
So I would not hire Belichick, 0.0.
And I would. I would not fire Nick, but if Nick is gone, I would absolutely take Belichick.
So I do think one pro to Belichick would be if
he's the greatest coach of all time. Yes. What's the second?
Well, I'm gonna move past that. And but if you are like kind of teaching Julian how to take over a team. Like, I don't know, having Belichick around to learn from. Now, granted, I don't like how Belichick does things, but in terms of just like
football knowledge,
and like how
running a franchise,
yeah, I think there would be a positive for Julian.
Yeah, well, look, we talk
now,
always about
you don't hire a head coach to
like whether or not you feel about Belichick, whether or not you give Brady the credit or whatever. And like again, I said the last Super they won the first 3. We didn't talk about those are more Belichick types of. But regardless of what you feel about like. We always talk about like the Eagles being a model organization.
Yeah.
Like the Patriots are the organization of the 2000s, bar none, period. It's over, discussion, over.
They did get caught cheating.
Who cares? How many Super Bowls did they win?
No, I agree. They're the best franchise of the last 20
without
years.
a doubt.
Yeah,
without it, in all of sports, probably the best franchise. Out like, if college sports, Alabama or whatever, that's
right.
But in professional, American professional sports, the Patriots are the best franchise of the 2000s. And that is like... Yeah. So there is real institutional knowledge of how to win and how to have an organization running the right way.
Now, flip side is you want Belichick teaching Julian how to cheat.
Well, you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. You know what I'm saying?
Amen.
Maybe we should cheat. All right, whatever it takes.
Well, we don't have to.
Well, yeah. All right, picks coming up in a minute, but we're doing the picks. We're going through every single game. Like, have the freaking Bet Park Sports Casino out.
A parlay for every
this
game?
Right here.
Should we do? I mean, like pick every single game in a parlay.
let's go for it.
Yeah.
Why not? Let's get wild this week.
Yeah,
Maybe
let's
we
do it.
just do money lines. Do you want to maybe?
That's
just
what I'm
make it
saying. Just do money lines.
Full
Just
money line
pick
parlay.
winners.
Can't wait to lose that.
Yeah.
It'll be even more embarrassing.
Well, I know Dallas or Detroit's going to screw us.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll pick both.
One of them,
but
yeah. But here's the thing. It's so much fun to bet on these games. And with the Bet Park Sportsbook app, you can do it with us.
Yes.
You know, we'll have the
Literally, we'll have the little widget in
little
that.
widget on there, and also it's just more fun. You listen to the pod. We're doing it together. And here's the fun thing. We're sitting around all weekend watching these games. Like, put some money on it. Individual player performances. You better bet. I'm going to be betting on passing yards, rushing yards, receiving yards. Who's going to score touchdowns? Like we said, who's going to win? The line, the over-under. There's so many ways to bet on these games. It is arguably, I think next weekend is the best football weekend of the year. I think this is the best betting weekend.
I agree.
You get more games.
I think it'd be like
full
week
under-
one because of the
Week one in
excitement.
this, I agree.
And yeah.
This is the best betting week in the year, and do it with us with the Bet Park Sportsbook Casino app. Here's a great deal for you new users. If you sign up now, if your first bet is a $10 winning bet, you get $125 in sportsbook bonus back. It is a great deal. You must be 21 and present in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Ohio, or Maryland. Gambling problem? Go 1-800-GAMBLER. I love when you do that, by the way, when you do like an in on the thing.
I've
Like at
heard,
the end of the pod, you do the little like thing.
yeah, like I know
just
your
love it.
cadence to like a
It makes
T.
me very happy.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I feel seen.
Yeah, well,
You know what I mean?
you're both seen and heard.
And heard,
Trust,
exactly. All right, let's get into these games. Again, I will say, we mentioned it before, but I think an abnormally fun wild card weekend as far as the games goes.
If I'm going to have to watch Cleveland and Houston play a playoff game,
it's about as good as it can be.
It's
Get
about the
Stroud,
best
the
you can ask
Flacco
for.
thing.
Yeah,
it's fun.
exactly.
All right, so let's start with that one. The Browns at the
I haven't seen the
Texans.
line for those.
Oh, good. Do you want to guess it?
I'll
We haven't
try
guessed
to
in a while.
guess it.
Yeah.
I know a few of the lines. But
All right, so the Browns at the Texans, obviously in Houston. What would you guess the line is?
Houston minus 1.5.
Wow. The Browns are a 2.5-point favorite
Way off.
in Houston.
I think Houston's going to win.
Which, okay.
Yeah.
I think the Browns are going to win. So I guess our parlay's already in trouble.
Yeah. Well, I'm fine.
I guess
going
let's
with
see the ones we
Browns.
agree on, too.
Yeah.
I think the Brown. So I said this to you before. Like, I think of any top, if you take the 1 and the 2 seeds out, so you just take out the Bills, the Ravens, the Niners, and the Cowboys, I think the Browns are the most likely Super Bowl champion of the rest of the teams.
Well, you took out like 40% of the playoff teams.
Well, I took out the top 2. Then there's still 12 other teams left. 12 other teams
Yeah,
left.
it's true. It's true.
I took out 2.
Yeah.
Or
Well,
I
it
took out
sounded like
4.
you took out 4.
Even then, let's put it this way. I would take the Browns over the Cowboys to win the Super Bowl. I would take.
I would not.
So my Super Bowl order for who's most likely to win the Super Bowl will go Ravens, Niners, Bills, Browns.
Yeah, I mean Brown. Like I like Stefanski as a head coach.
I think they have the
a
best
great
defense. They have the best
Yeah.
defense in the playoffs.
You think
And
better than Baltimore's?
yeah, okay. As good. All right. Well,
right.
statistically it was, but
Right.
either way, I think you're right. I think Baltimore in the playoffs maybe it's better, regardless.
They have Myles Garrett. Baltimore doesn't have a Myles Garrett.
And dude, have you watched the Browns I watched a lot of Browns last month. I feel like they were on the Saturday night game a couple times.
Right.
Dude, Flacco's real, dude. Joe
Yeah.
Flacco looks freaking awesome. He looks awesome with the
I
Browns.
just think that-
awesome.
I think that bubble's
and
gonna
they got
pop,
weapons.
but-
Like Cooper's great. Njoku's like an awesome
But wait,
tight end.
so
Like Ford.
you
like
think Flacco's
Hunt.
a Hall of Famer?
No.
If he wins this Super Bowl, is he?
Maybe.
If he wins this one, I think he's in.
Probably is.
Right?
Which is crazy.
Yeah. Even
Yeah.
if he gets there, I think he starts.
So
having
either way, I'll take the Browns. You take the Texans. We'll figure out the parlay
All right.
later.
Well, I'm
All right.
fine betting Browns. I don't feel. I would take the Texans, but I don't
Okay.
feel strong.
Okay.
About it.
Dolphins at the Chiefs.
All right.
Do you know the line on this one?
Well, I know it's -30.
That's true. It's one of the coldest games in the history of the NFL. The Chiefs a 4.5-point home favorite.
Okay. I'm gonna take the Chiefs.
Me too. Me too. I'm
The
laying the
only
points.
argument would be like
It's a 3-0 game.
Yeah, exactly. So let me just quickly.
This is a game we were just talking. Hey, get the app and do stuff. Bet the unders.
Yeah, bet the under.
Bet
Now,
the
I'd be
unders on
curious what it
passing
is. What
yards,
is it? You must have it right there.
Well, the over under on points is 43, which seems way high.
I think that's I think the Eagles is right around there.
The Eagles over under is 43.5.
Yeah.
Look at you.
All right. So obviously this is another example of why everything should be in a dome. Like think about this. I want
I disagree with you.
I want listeners to put themselves in this situation. Imagine you have the biggest meeting of your
People did not like this when you
They
tweeted
did
this out
not.
on Twitter.
That's fine. Imagine you had the biggest meeting of
I
your
saw
life
you. This
coming
is
up.
such a ridiculous.
I don't-
Every meeting you have is indoors. Like this is a silly comparison. You're never gonna have a meeting
But the
outdoors.
point I'm making is this is one of the biggest games.
But you play football outdoors.
But
always.
football is only played outdoors because when it was originally invented, like domes weren't really a thing. Like we don't go in outhouses anymore. We
It's
weren't meant
because
to go to the bathroom
it's
outside.
more fun
we
to
go to the
watch.
We used to go to the bath. More fun to watch. Like these are these people's livelihoods.
This is the honestly, can I be honest with you? The single thing I'm most excited to watch this weekend, just forgetting all the teams, is teams playing in minus 30-degree weather.
I'm excited to watch it.
So what's your point here?
But it's not fair. It's not how it's not like I agree. I love watching snow games. I'm way more interested in the game on Saturday night because it's going to be cold.
Yeah, me
question,
too.
Right?
So what are you saying here?
Because I don't want these players' careers and I don't want the game dictated by weather. Like
I do.
Imagine if all right, think about the Fog Bowl, right?
Yeah.
That's not fair.
I mean, it's life, dude. It's life.
But what I'm saying is, like, these players and teams work so hard to get where they are, and all of a sudden it's like, well, it's raining, so
I'm not
there
agree
goes
with you on
24
this.
years of work.
The only argument that you have made since I was in that dome in Dallas is for a dome here because I'm an Eagles fan. I want it to be loud.
Right.
That's it. I don't otherwise play outside. Give me the awesome view on
imagine
TV.
If
You're never going to convince me of this.
I know. Imagine if once out of every 5 times
I know.
you
So let me keep going.
once every 5 times you showed up to the studio and you never knew when it was going to be, it was like minus 30 in there, and you still did your job. It is comparable.
No, it's not because football, they know they play outside.
Right, but the difference is I'm saying like the temperature and circumstances out of your control are dictating how well you can do your job, and that's the unfair
Your
part.
job is played outside.
No. Your job
it'd be
is
like
to,
saying,
your job
yeah,
is to
if
play
I
football.
dug ditches or something, it'd be a fair comparison. And then you know what? That's the job, and it sucks. And I know that when it's cold out, it's going to be harder to do my job, but that's my job. You know, like
but these players
get paid lots of money to go out and play in the cold.
But the difference is like if there was a way to dig ditches where you could be under a cover, you would do
You're
it.
missing. No, sure, but you're missing. I don't care about the players.
But
I care about the product. I care about what I'm watching on TV.
But that's what I'm saying. Like why?
Other
why
than
are we
health,
not,
I want them to stay healthy and whatever. But like, come on, they're not getting hurt in these games. Like it hurts to get hit and stuff. But they're not getting hurt at an abnormal rate in these games.
It's impacting their ability to do their job.
Fine, it's more fun to watch on TV. I don't care.
But there's
about
a way
their ability
around it. Like that's what I'm saying. Like there's
no,
a way to
because
fix this problem.
It's your problem. Your problem ruins what I want and what most people want. What are you talking about? We want to watch the best product on TV. The best product is going to be in minus 30 degree weather because it's going to be freaking awesome to watch. Done. Discussion
with
over.
all types of things with the NFL, we change things based off player safety and how
player safety is not an issue here. Don't go into player safety. It's not like a massive issue with player safety.
But like it does impact the players and their ability to like do their job. Like they'll be cold.
They'll be cold.
There is a way to get around this problem.
It's not a problem. It's a problem
in my eyes, it is, yes. And I'm sure the players aren't thrilled about it.
The players can suck it up and deal and make their millions of dollars.
I don't think their salary matters in this.
Of course it does.
I don't think it does.
What are you talking about? This is crazy.
You see all the time, players are humans. It's not like
of course they are. Players are humans who make a lot of money. It's part of what you get paid for. I get paid to do my job. There might be parts of my job that I don't like, but you know what? I get paid for it, so I do it.
But there's a way to we can move on.
But to ruin the fun of what it is, again, you're missing out.
Your eyes.
Hold up. What's the reason the players get paid millions of dollars?
Because of how much revenue is created.
Oh, and because of people watching games and all of us and all.
People would watch if they were.
I think it is a worse product. So why would you make your product worse?
How is it a worse product?
Because it's more fun to watch it in the cold. What are you talking about?
But you're talking about not the on the play. You're not talking about the play on the field.
As a television viewer, the product that I am consuming is that game on my TV. It is a more fun product when it is cold and snowy or this or that. It's more fun.
All right, but to you it is, right? But also
to most
are you
people,
more
and
likely?
You even admitted it. To you it is.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people feel the way I feel. Like they do, right?
You just said that you feel the opposite.
Yes,
You're just trying to protect the integrity
excited.
of the players
I'm
or whatever.
excited that it's going to be cold. I agree, but I'm watching that game regardless. I'd rather watch these.
Let's move on.
You want to watch the Dolphins?
It's Friday.
Yeah.
This is way too long. I will never agree with you.
I know.
So why are you arguing with me? Like, I don't agree with you.
I know.
Let's move on.
Yeah.
Killing
I just don't want to see this Dolphins offense in 30-degree weather.
I can't wait. Honestly, I'm more excited for Lions-Rams as a game, but I'm most excited for Saturday night because of the weather. Because of the weather. That's what I'm saying. That's the point. Is I'm more excited for the two teams and the matchup in the Lions but I'm more excited to watch the other one just because of the weather. How about that?
Is it supposed to snow too?
I know. I think it's just supposed to be super duper cold.
It won't even look that different.
It'll be cool though.
It'll be cool. Yeah.
Because you know.
Yeah, because
you know they're out.
Yeah,
I love it. All right, Bills at Steelers at Bills. Bills a 10-point home favorite. A lot of points.
Yeah, I'll take the Bills.
I'm going to take the Steelers points wise, but we'll take the Bills for the win. But I'm going to take the points. It seems like a lot of points. I think Tomlin will show up. Packers, a 7-point dog in Dallas.
I think Packers +7 is a good bet.
Do you really?
Yeah.
So hold up, this is shocking because I'm going to take the Cowboys. Obviously, much to my chagrin.
I think Cowboys win, but the Packers.
We're definitely taking them for the money line. But I agree. I've been really impressed with Jordan Love and all that. But you're Mr. Dallas at home.
I agree.
That's your whole thing
with the Eagles. with the Eagles.
Well, period.
Yeah.
They won 16 straight.
No,
there or
but
whatever.
like
you talked about it as a whole thing. They're great at home.
Well, I've said I think it's really hard for the Eagles going there specifically, but
clearly it's anyone.
Has
It's
Dallas
been almost 2 years since they lost in that.
When's the last time Dallas won a playoff game by I'm trying to think. When they beat Seattle, that was really close at home, right?
Let's say they can win by 8 points and cover.
No, I know, but I mean, are you taking Dallas then?
I'm taking Dallas
With the points.
Laying the points.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
so
we're
I'm gonna
obviously
take
taking
Packers
Dallas for the
plus
money
7.
line, but I'm laying the points.
I'm going to
for sure.
take Packers plus 7.
All right, Rams at the Lions. Lions a 3-point
I
home
just think
favorite.
this is the Lions Super Bowl. And maybe that can play against them and that the emotion of it, but they're better than the Rams. And
that place is going to be insane.
Exactly.
It's going to be the most insane crowd of all the games multiplied.
Yeah, it'll be way crazier than
I like the Lions in this one.
Yeah, I think I like the Lions too.
We're just picking all the favorites to win, by the way. Eagles at Bucks. I obviously am taking the Bucks.
So I do think the best bet you could make is move the line to Bucks 3.5, and then this way if the Eagles win by 3, you still win.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm picking Eagles. Yeah.
I'm picking the Bucks.
Okay. Are you?
We don't put the Eagles in the parlay. The
No, I
parlay is
agree.
going to be
Yeah,
everything
we're not
else
taking the
anyway, so it
parlay.
doesn't
I
matter.
agree.
But I'm taking the. I don't need to pick anything else. I'm taking the 3 points.
Right. Yeah.
I think the Bucks
Eagles.
win. But
I
yes,
think the
all
Eagles
I need
cover.
is my 3 points.
I think the Eagles cover.
Okay, good.
I'm
All right,
gonna pick them 24-20.
So we're just doing a favorites money line.
Yeah.
Browns, Chiefs.
Well, it's still probably be +4.
Yeah, but it'll be a lot. Bills, Cowboys, Lions. It's plus 515, lower than I would have expected. My point is more that when do all the favorites win?
Well, if you're the Eagles, I think you have to hope there's upsets before your game, because if all the favorites win going into Monday night,
I mean,
although the Eagles are,
I just think that one of these will be wrong, but we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
But one of these is gonna be wrong.
Yeah, well, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no question about it. Yeah.
All right.
Anything in the chat?
A lot of chat about your weather discussion.
Don't take.
What do
Yeah.
people
On
have
my
to
side.
say?
One person said that they should just play every game in one stadium in the NFL. That would be the fairest
He's
way to do it.
mocking you.
I mean, well, that would be tough. It's
called
from an
mocking.
attendance perspective, but
It's
in
called
terms of
mocking.
making it fair, I
Mock.
would agree with that.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
Someone else said you won them over because
Thank
snow and
you.
rain games can be fun, but it totally changes the aspect of the game.
Here you go. You got one person.
No, I'm
you
I'm
see
sure
the way
there's
he's
lots of
yes,
people.
right. You
Yeah.
got one. He said one person did.
I just think saying
Everyone
because
else
that's
is
how it's
against it.
played is silly. We've changed all.
No,
types
because
of
it's
things.
more fun. It is better to watch. It is a better TV product. That's what it is.
I don't think that should matter.
I know.
Yeah.
It comes from someone who goes to every game, is always in the stadium. That's your perspective.
Right.
As someone who watches at home on TV, let me tell you, it's awesome.
And we've had one snowball in how many years?
Well, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
All right. Final thoughts.
So, I think if you get caught 3 times not picking up after your dog outside, you should lose your dog.
Okay. Let me just do this.
Yeah. So
Standing ovation.
So
Put some freaking stakes on this.
So
There's nothing worse. Honestly, can I just tell you something? And I'm embarrassed to admit it. I basically lose pairs of shoes when I step in.
Well, this is where I'm going with this.
Because they sit out back. I'm like, I'll clean them, and then
Yeah.
I don't clean them, and then it's all right, now they're ruined.
So
they're ruined.
I stepped in dog poop outside of my house, and I literally had to pick. It's one of my favorite pairs of shoes. I had to pick it out with a
stick
Q-tip
or something.
right?
right?
Yeah. And I haven't worn them since.
Yeah, I know.
It's gonna feel weird to wear them again.
I know.
And again, this is also a personal thing for me because there's somebody on my block that is not picking. It is absurd. There has to be 4 or 5 pieces of dog poop outside.
I mean,
I am so.
I would
close.
almost go so far as say they should be shot.
Like,
all right,
I-
I'm going a step further. I'm kidding. I'm
Right,
kidding,
right,
everyone.
Right.
Publicly hung. I'm just
I-
kidding. I'm kidding.
I do think I'm getting very close to hanging a sign up outside.
You
But
should.
but I know it'll just make it worse. Someone will tear it down or they'll rub poop on it.
It is so I was. I've
I
said on
want
the
to
pod.
alert the cops.
I've
and
said
get
on
one
the
of those
I've
signs
said
up
on the
there.
pod many times. One of the things that Emily always says in our house. She's very big on
We live in a society.
yes, we live in a society,
Right.
people. They can say, and it's true though. This is such a quintessential example of that. Pick up after your freaking dog.
Right, and
You should not be allowed to own a dog
Yes.
if you're not going to pick up.
And I do think, obviously, there are ways where dogs are taken from people. So I'm not saying there's no regulation with dog ownership. But if you're intentionally breaking the law multiple times with this, you shouldn't be allowed to have a dog. You just shouldn't. I'm sorry.
think it's a
One
great take.
time, I can, you know what? If you do it once, it happens. You forget your bag, whatever.
Totally.
Twice, you're pushing it, but whatever. 3 times, you don't care anymore. And you shouldn't be allowed to have a dog.
It's phenomenal.
Or you should have to have the dog poop in your house.
Sure. I like that. Yeah, like get like poop pads.
The dog is no longer allowed outside your house. It has a color. That's mean to the dog.
Yeah, it's not the dog's fault.
Yeah,
Let the dog
right.
have a life. But I agree. Ultimately, that's why it has to go to a different owner. You can't. You should not be able to.
Do you think the dog, off of yesterday, you think the dog feels bad when they know? Like, think the dog looks back and is like, bro, like, pick up the poop.
I'm gonna guess no.
Maybe, I don't know. If it's, anyway, like,
I'm with you.
I don't know what I'm going to do. But
a righteous take.
It's going to be really, like, old man annoying of me.
I would stand out there and be
like,
you. You.
I just don't. I'm not confrontational. But,
I know you're not.
It's just like, I know the person.
Come over and yell at him.
I know the person's doing it intentionally. Like, I know.
Well, at the point they're just clearly don't care.
Yeah, they don't care. Exactly.
Like, look, we've all had that situation where you bring a couple bags out and then your dog goes like 3 times. And you're like, whoa, I wasn't expecting 3 times. And then, you know what I do? I go back out with a bag when I get home.
I was thinking it would be funny if the person that's doing it just happened to be a pod listener and lived in our neighborhood.
Well, if they're listening now, there we go. Listen.
Yeah. Well, they're going to do it even more.
Oh, look at this. Jack Fritz walking up.
Nice of him to show up.
All right. Here's my final thought. It's a really weird one.
Okay.
It's a really weird one.
Look at him.
Are you doing a pod next?
We're doing clap your hands.
That's why.
Yeah.
I was wondering why he's being weird. This is a weird one, but I've wondered this for a little while. When you blow your nose,
yes,
do you put the tissue up to your nose?
Correct.
Do you just blow with both nostrils, or do you pinch one and blow, and then pinch the other and blow?
So now that you mention it, I feel like I probably pinch.
I pinch, and so what I'm wondering is, like, is that what everyone does, or is that just me? I've never thought about this before, but you know, like, you take a tissue. I actually have a tissue in my back pocket. I brought one specifically for this.
This is why we record in the studio.
Yes, so that I can have like a little prop there. And you know, you think you like that with both, but no, I always pinch my and I always blow left first.
This is great.
Microphone in front of the microphone.
Yeah.
Left first, right. That's how I blow my nose, and I wonder if I'm weird or not. This is the second. Is it weird in a day? I guess in 2 days.
I would say I think about it, I probably do pinch, but I probably do a bit of both.
Okay.
I would say.
I'm intrigued. Let me know.
I definitely do both. I think I start with a pinch and then to like clear
it out. Okay, because I always pinch. I'm a pinchman.
Yeah,
I just do.
Sounds like a Seinfeld
bit. No, that's what I thought of it.
Yeah.
Well, you know, we're doing final thoughts. You know, I was like, I'm like, you know what? I've never brought this up to anyone, but I've wondered.
I would guess everyone does it differently.
I think so too.
Because you're not really taught to blow. Like
that's why I'm asking.
Like I guess you just say like
there's no formula.
Blow, but you're not like now pinch and then do this.
It almost feels weird to me to blow with both. It almost feels like
it feels like
weird.
reckless.
It feels like what am I doing?
Yeah.
So anyway,
all right,
go.
Good final thought.
It sure was. I got what I wanted.
Anything in the chat?
A lot of people agreeing with your dog take.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, it was a great take.
Yeah,
I agree. It's the opposite
Again,
of dog
like,
take. Yeah,
that same brain that thought of that dog take knows the truth about the dome.
I think we all know that you can miss every once in a while. Right?
Rarely.
All right. Parks Pod tomorrow. We will be at Parks Show.
Yeah. It's gonna rain.
It is the Parks
tonight, by the way.
Of course it is.
And it's gonna snow on Tuesday.
Oh God, just shoot.
Yeah.
Me. All right. Parks Show. Check us out tomorrow. Monday night. Post game, it's go time. We're gonna know one way or the other pretty damn soon, and who knows? Maybe we'll be talking about a new coach next week.
This time next week,
or the Niners, you know, or the
Cowboys
and
Lions.
or the Lions.
Yeah.
Could go anyway.
I think you got to root Lions, like a root to play the Lions.
I mean, no, you root for the Packers and the Rams to win.
Yeah, well, right.
That is
what I'm saying.
The real goal. But if the Cowboys beat the Packers,
you root against Dallas and you root against Detroit.
No, then you root against Detroit. Yeah, it's even more important that Detroit loses if Dallas wins, because you'd rather go to Dallas than San Francisco.
For sure.
I think
all right. Personally.
Let's get to your pod. Everyone check out Clap Your Hands. It's a great pod.
A lot of
and we'll be back tomorrow at Parks. Give us a call if you're one of our regulars who want to talk to you. Until then, he's Item James.